What's up and welcome. This is me, you, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news, brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in snackable 10-minute episodes. Today's Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. It is 7:54 a.m. on the East Coast. This is episode 63. I am back to work. My kids are back in school. Hopefully, you're also kind of getting back into the swing of things. A little bit of normalcy is not a bad thing. I had a fantastic break, but I'm happy to be back at it. Last episode, we covered every Switch 2 game that we know of coming in January. We've already had a few games pop up that we didn't know about, or at least I didn't know about. This happens, more frequently than not. We had Suika Game Planet. This is an evolution of the watermelon game. This is where you merge fruits together. You probably have seen this one on iOS or Switch 1. Very fun, very addicting. Also, the Switch 2 version brings game share support, so you can have local gameplay. And then you can also have up to 4 players in co-op play. This is only $3.75 on the eShop today, which is ridiculously cheap, I think, because we also got Toomba Special Edition. This is a PS1 kind of classic game. Very fun game. We just got the sequel on the eShop too, so I think it's interesting that we got Toomba 2 before we got Toomba 1. But the price on this is a bit steep. It's $19.99, so maybe wishlist that and hope for a price drop if you're interested in Toomba. But today I don't want to talk about eShop games. I want to dig into something a little bit more interesting. There are some bigger games that we know of coming to Switch 2 this year, not just this month, but throughout the year. And I wanted to just talk about some of the things that we're already aware of. It's so early in the year. There are so many games that are going to get dropped. The announcement and the hype cycle and the actual game will all happen this year, and we have no idea what those are, right? And that's fun. I think that's the joy. It's really why I miss things like E3 so much, because E3 had that opportunity for these big reveals, and then every once in a while you'll get a big reveal in July, and they'll tell you that it'll release over the holiday season, right? We get a little bit of that with Nintendo Directs. I remember the Link's Awakening remake was announced, I think, in the summer, and then we received it at the holiday season, which is awesome. So hopefully we'll get some surprises like that. But I just wanted to go through month to month. I'm not going to cover everything, but I just want to cover some highlights. There's a little bias here because I'm choosing some games that I'm personally excited for, but I think that's okay. I'll have links in the show notes if you want to read other articles where they go a little bit deeper and cover every game. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with February, since we already covered January's games. We have Dragon Quest VII Reimagined dropping in February. Dragon Quest VII is a 2000 PS1 game. It was actually remade and re-released in 2013 on 3DS. So this might be the second incarnation. It might even be the third incarnation of Dragon Quest VII. I've recently got a Game Informer magazine subscription. They kind of revamped things over there. New team, new leadership. And one of the first issues that I received has a really great cover story on Dragon Quest VII, looking very good. Mario Tennis Fever is also dropping, probably the next big first-party Nintendo game. It looks very solid. You kind of know what you're getting with this one, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a lot of fun. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, continuing to see the Yakuza series find a really solid footing on Switch 2 has been great. I'm wondering if eventually the Switch 2 is the place to play every title, every Yakuza title that exists over time as they continue to release these games. We also have Ys 10 Proud Nordics, another port from a big franchise. Happy to see the support there. Resident Evil 7 and Village and Requiem, these 3 titles all hitting the same day. This is such a big deal. This will happen in February, towards the end of the month. I think it's the 27th, but don't quote me on that. I'm curious to see how Requiem stacks up against other console versions. I think this will be a real telling release for Switch 2. If this game ends up being incredibly playable compared to, let's say, PS5. But it looks like Capcom has Switch 2 development pretty locked in, so it's looking very promising. I think Requiem is going to be a title that brings a lot of players back to Resident Evil after haven't played any of the new titles, but maybe they played Resident Evil 4 back in the day. March, Pokemon Pokopia. This is probably the biggest March title. I think this is not my genre, but I think that this might be the next big thing like Animal Crossing. I really think this has all the ingredients to blow up and be outrageously successful for Switch 2 and just outrageously successful for Pokemon if the community features are robust and they catch on. I think Pokemon Pokopia is going to be huge. We also have Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. The art style here is just incredible. If you remember the trailer in one of the partner directs, very Tears of the Kingdom-esque. I haven't played a Monster Hunter's Story game yet, but this one might be the title to rope me in. In April, we're getting Capcom's new IP, Pragmata. I've been sheepishly calling this one Mecha DK Bonanza. I'm hopeful that it's like a 12 to 16 hour game that's just like perfect, refined gameplay, powerful story, steady pacing. Because I'm definitely thinking April is such a good time to just pick up a quick and straightforward single player experience, and it might be that with Pragmata. And the reason why I call it Mecha DK Bonanza is because you played like this big guy in like an augmented mech suit, and then you have this little girl that sits on your shoulder. Reminded me of Donkey Kong. We also have 007 First Light in May. There's a lot of content out there already for this game, but I honestly haven't been tracking it too closely. I haven't played a good 007 game since GoldenEye. And even going back to GoldenEye, which I have done, it doesn't feel as great as it did when I was a kid. And I feel like there have been plenty of 007 games that have been pumped up as like, this is the one. Like, this is the one that's going to be as good or better or memorable as GoldenEye. And I don't know, I'm just not sold yet, but I'm definitely open to it. Eventually, we're going to get Super Mario Wonder Meetup in Bella Bella Park, which is like the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Wonder with some additional content. We'll get that at some point this year. I played through Mario Wonder last year, so a couple years removed. So the experience is still so fresh for me. I'm not sure I'm ready to hop back in for more content. I'd rather play Galaxy 2, I think, which we just also got. But I'm glad this refresh and additional multiplayer content will be released. There's no shortage of Mario to hold us over for the next proper AAA 3D Mario game whenever that hits. And I really do, want that, but I just got DK Bonanza from that team, and that was so satisfying, so I'm not in a rush to get this new Mario game. We'll also get the movie this year, which is pretty exciting. We are slated to get Yoshi and the Mysterious Book in the first half of the year. I am such a sucker for these games. They are clearly built for younger gamers. The pacing is so sluggish and slow. There's minimal action, kind of lazy and quirky music. There's lots of colors, creative art styles. It really feels like it's built for, a first grader, but I really don't care. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to love it. I'm hoping that this one elevates the series a little bit, maybe a stronger narrative. But I really do appreciate all the Yoshi games, and I'm looking forward to playing this one on Switch too. Okay. What else do we know about that doesn't have a set release date? We know that we're getting Bluey and the Quest for the Golden Pen. This is like Link to the Past set in the Blueyverse. Yes, please. I will definitely play through this game. There's a new Fire Emblem coming, Fortune's Weave. This game's art style looked absolutely phenomenal, and I'm sure this will be a very polished title. We're getting the Dusk Bloods. This is from Software collaborating with Nintendo. This could be a huge deal. I think we still need a little bit more details on this one, but I'd be surprised if they put out a miss. The Adventures of Elliot should drop this year. I had a blast with this demo from Square Enix, very rooted in the top-down Zelda tradition, and that demo was so much fun. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam will supposedly drop this year, seeing a return to that franchise. We have lots of ports and re-releases coming to Switch 2. We still have Elden Ring that had a rough dev cycle, but apparently it is still coming. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition has been announced for Switch 2. We have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which many put in their top 5 lists for the year when that was released. And in the Switch Online Classics catalog, we're getting that Virtual Boy release, complete with a replica console and a cardboard alternative if you want to play the Virtual Boy catalog. I'm still excited for Mina the Hollower, the next title from the team behind Shovel Knight. We also have Orbitals. That's that anime cartoon-style co-op game that we saw at the Game Awards. That looks very unique. We'll get more details on that throughout the year. And then finally, it is Pokemon's 30th anniversary, and it is The Legend of Zelda's 40th anniversary. So who knows? Who knows what surprises they may have, the big rumor is, maybe we'll get Pokemon Red and Blue somehow on Switch 2. Maybe we'll get Ocarina of Time remake or remaster on Switch 2. All of that would be fantastic. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of things, but I wanted to drop everything that's been on my radar in hopes that maybe something on my radar might land on yours as well. And it's been a slow news week. The only real news that I caught is that we are getting a Dragon Quest VII Reimagined demo. It's going to be a free demo on Switch and Switch 2 on January 7th, 2026. And I believe that's tomorrow. And I believe your save will carry over. So if you're interested in starting Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, you can do that tomorrow. So that's it for today. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention. A kind rating or review on your podcast listening app of choice helps me continue to grow the show. Sharing with a friend, family member, Discord server, subreddit, or wherever you hang out with other gamers goes even further. Head on over to switch2pod.com for all the links, all the things. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts. We should be everywhere. Much love. Now go play some games.